The story of Atlantis begins not with archaeologists or divers, but with a philosopher. In ancient Greece, around 360 BCE, Plato wrote two dialogues called Timaeus and Critias. In these texts, he described a powerful island nation that existed about 9,000 years before his time. According to Plato, Atlantis was located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which most historians believe refers to the Strait of Gibraltar. Beyond that gateway to the Atlantic Ocean, he claimed, there was once a vast island, larger than Libya and Asia Minor combined. Atlantis was not a primitive tribe, it was a superpower. The island was divided into concentric rings of land and water, engineered with astonishing precision. At its center stood a magnificent palace and a temple dedicated to the sea god Poseidon. Bridges crossed canals. Ships sailed through carefully constructed harbors. The city walls were said to shine with metals unknown to the ancient Greeks, including a mysterious substance called orichalcum. Plato described fertile plains, advanced agriculture, organized military forces, and a society blessed with wealth and technology. But there was a warning hidden in the story. As Atlantis grew stronger, its people grew arrogant. They attempted to conquer lands beyond their island, including Athens. And then, according to Plato, divine punishment struck. In a single day and night of misfortune, he wrote, Atlantis sank beneath the sea. And just like that, it was gone. For centuries, scholars debated a simple question. Did Plato invent Atlantis as a moral allegory? Or was he recording a memory of something real? Some argue that Atlantis was purely symbolic. Plato often used fictional settings to explore philosophical ideas. The fall of Atlantis could represent the dangers of pride, corruption, and moral decay. But others believe something deeper is hidden within the text. Plato claimed the story came from an earlier source. He said it was passed down to the Athenian lawmaker Solon during his visit to Egypt. Egyptian priests reportedly told Solon about an ancient catastrophe that destroyed a powerful island civilization. If true, that would mean the story of Atlantis was already ancient even in Plato's time. The idea is unsettling. About 3,600 years ago, a volcanic island in the Aegean Sea exploded with unimaginable force. That island was Thera, known today as Santorini. The eruption of Santorini around 1600 BCE was one of the most powerful volcanic events in human history. It sent ash high into the atmosphere. It triggered massive tsunamis that struck nearby coasts. Entire settlements were buried. Some researchers believe this disaster may have inspired the Atlantis legend. Nearby lived the Minoans, a highly advanced Bronze Age civilization centered on Crete. They built multi-story buildings, developed complex art, and maintained an impressive maritime network. Their society was sophisticated and prosperous. After the eruption, Minoan civilization declined. Was this the real Atlantis? The similarities are striking. A powerful island culture, advanced architecture, a sudden destruction linked to natural catastrophe. But there are problems. Plato's timeline places Atlantis thousands of years earlier than the Minoans. And geographically, Santorini lies within the Mediterranean, not beyond the Pillars of Hercules as described. The puzzle deepens. Over the centuries, explorers and dreamers searched for Atlantis across the globe. Some claimed it was in the Caribbean. Others believed it rested near Antarctica. There were even theories placing Atlantis in the Sahara Desert, suggesting it was swallowed by shifting sands rather than water. In the 20th century, the mystery reached new audiences through popular culture. Books, documentaries, and expeditions reignited global fascination. The idea of a lost advanced civilization captured the imagination of millions. Part of the attraction lies in hope. If Atlantis existed, it would rewrite history. It would prove that ancient humanity achieved levels of knowledge we do not fully understand. It would challenge the accepted timeline of civilization. But, so far, no confirmed archaeological evidence has ever been found. No ruins, no inscriptions, no artifacts that undeniably belong to Atlantis. Just theories. One popular theory places Atlantis near the Azores Islands in the Atlantic Ocean. These volcanic islands sit along the mid-Atlantic ridge, where tectonic plates slowly drift apart. Supporters argue that parts of a larger landmass could have sunk due to seismic activity. Underwater structures discovered near the region have fueled speculation. But modern geology presents a problem. Large continents do not simply sink overnight. Plate tectonics operates over millions of years, not a single catastrophic evening as Plato described. Still, the Atlantic remains vast and largely unexplored, and the ocean keeps its secrets well. Many historians return to a simpler explanation. Atlantis was never meant to be found. Plato used the story to contrast two societies, a virtuous, disciplined Athens and a corrupt, imperial Atlantis. The destruction of Atlantis served as a philosophical lesson about morality and hubris. In this view, searching for Atlantis in the ocean is like searching for a metaphor in the sand. Yet something about the narrative feels unusually detailed for pure fiction. The geography, the political structure, the engineering descriptions. Why such precision? Some scholars suggest Plato may have blended fact and fiction. Perhaps he used fragments of real historical disasters and reshaped them into a moral tale. If so, Atlantis becomes something even more fascinating. Not a single lost city, but a symbolic memory of multiple ancient catastrophes. A more controversial theory pushes the timeline back even further. Around 12,800 years ago, Earth experienced a sudden climate shift known as the Younger Dryas. Temperatures dropped dramatically. Ice sheets advanced. Sea levels later rose as the ice melted. Some researchers speculate that coastal settlements from this period could now lie underwater. After the last ice age, rising seas swallowed vast stretches of habitable land. If early advanced communities existed along ancient coastlines, their remains might now rest beneath hundreds of feet of water. Could Atlantis be a memory of a civilization lost to rising seas? Mainstream archaeology remains skeptical. There is no confirmed evidence of a global advanced civilization from that era. But underwater archaeology is still in its infancy. The sea has covered nearly 3/4 of our planet. We have explored only a fraction. Atlantis is more than a lost city. It represents possibility, the idea that history is incomplete, that beneath the waves, truths wait to be uncovered, that our understanding of the past might be only a surface layer. Every generation rediscovers Atlantis in its own way. In times of scientific optimism, it becomes a symbol of forgotten technology. In times of uncertainty, it becomes a warning about collapse. In times of exploration, it becomes a challenge. Perhaps that is why it refuses to disappear. There is something deeply human about longing for lost greatness. Atlantis tells a story we recognize, a civilization at its peak, confidence turning to arrogance, power leading to downfall. It mirrors the rise and fall of empires throughout history. From ancient kingdoms to modern superpowers, no civilization is permanent. Atlantis becomes a reflection of ourselves, and maybe that is its true power. Today, satellites map the ocean floor. Submersibles dive into crushing depths. Technology allows us to see places once thought unreachable. Yet the deep sea remains one of the least explored environments on Earth. Strange formations are discovered. Sunken cities from known civilizations emerge from shallow waters. Each discovery sparks headlines. But Atlantis remains silent. No definitive proof has surfaced. And perhaps that uncertainty is what keeps the legend alive. If Atlantis were proven real, the mystery would end. If Atlantis were definitively disproven, the wonder would fade. Instead, it lingers between myth and memory. Somewhere beyond the horizon, waves rise and fall as they have for thousands of years. Beneath them lies darkness. Whether Atlantis was a real island swallowed by catastrophe, a distorted memory of ancient disaster, or a brilliant philosophical invention by Plato, its story continues to captivate the world. Maybe Atlantis is not a place. Maybe it is a question. How much of our past is still hidden? What stories have been lost to time and tide? And if a great civilization once vanished in a single night, what does that say about us? The ocean keeps its secrets, and Atlantis remains the greatest of them all.